The Braves round out their regular season slate with 2 straight on the road, the first of which comes tonight here at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Welcome into a pregame Tomahawk Talk. Calvin Christoforo, Reeves Jackson, and Daniel Coates with you. And Daniel, let's go back to last night, a game that Nick Galley called the most important game of the year. And the Braves played that way, a 13-1 trouncing of the Cotuit Cavaliers. What'd you like that you saw last night, and how can the Braves take that momentum into what we now know to be a first-round playoff matchup?
Well, I like that they were fearless going into a Cotuit team who is coming into Doran Park with a 5-game win streak. And they looks like earlier this week after our visit to Lowell Park where we dropped that 13-2, I mean, for them to jump back and really set the tone and flip it onto the Cotuit Cavaliers, who we're going to be facing in the first round of the playoffs, was a huge momentum factor. Tonight, against a team in the Hyannis Harborhawks who are already well out of it. They're at the bottom of the West Division. The Warm Braves coming in the top, of course, clinching earlier this week. But I'm looking for more production to continue this momentum into the playoffs, particularly Ben Huber, the UConn transfer. He's 5 for 13 with 3 RBIs on the season. Would love to see those new incomers continue to produce here on the Cape.
Well, Daniel's looking for some more production, Reeves. When you look at these next 2 games, obviously the Braves already clinched. I don't want to call them tune-up games, but they kind of are, right? 2 games against 2 teams who have been eliminated from playoff contention before the Braves start their postseason push. What can the Bravos do in their final 2 regular season games that'll get them ready for postseason play?
Well, I'm looking most importantly at the pitching staff. Obviously, I think we know who the primary guys are that are going to be starting, and then the first out of the bullpen for the first 3 games. But I want maybe a guy like Kelsey Ward who's starting, maybe a guy like Bryce Cafaro, Frank Doling, to step up and did what Matt Jacek did. Someone who can impress the coaching staff enough to where I believe Jacek now can be heavily relied upon in a postseason game after what we saw last night. And as of the 3 guys that I just mentioned, I don't think any of those guys have performed well enough to satisfy the coaches enough in that regard to be one of the guys that could be heavily used on and heavily relied on out of the bullpen in the postseason. But out of those 3 guys, one of those guys could step up. Even Tyler Stewart's name thrown into the mix. So one of those guys of those 4 could really step up and make a name for themselves here in the final 2 games to be used in the postseason.
Well, that could be something to look for here tonight in Hyannis when the Braves go for the season sweep of the Harborhawks. First pitch from McKeon Park is set for 6, but you can join us at 5:40 for the Bravos, our Braves pregame show. Until then, as always, go Braves.